Hi golfers, Rob Cheney here from GOLFTEC Singapore. Today's video, we're going to talk about the driver. I haven't done a driver video for a while. We're going to discuss the importance of strike location on the face, so where you hit this ball on the face and how much it matters, as well as sharing with you a drill that can help you to do this much more effectively. So when it comes to hitting the ball well and consistently well off the tee, one of the key factors is strike location, where you hit the ball on the face. It has a massive influence in how much of the actual swing speed that you create is transferred into ball speed, which is how fast the ball leaves the face. So we're going to start today's video just by giving you a sense of the importance of strike and how much it can affect the ball flight. We're going to go through here and hit some shots. We'll see what happens. I'm going to try and do some certain things in terms of strike. I'm going to try and move the strike around on the club face, and we'll take a look at the data on the GC quad and see exactly where that club and the ball are striking each other and how that's affecting the ball flight, the direction, the curve, and the distance. Okay, so I'm going to start out here with just my standard driver swing and see what we get. Okay, felt pretty solid off the club face. Be interesting to see where that one's actually landed. That's gone 260 meters, which is about 285 yards. Very, very centered contact, pretty straight club path, slightly closed face, so the ball was finished a little bit left of center, but a decent drive, a good strike. The smash factor, or the efficiency of that strike, 1.46, which is a really good measurement. Efficiency or smash factor is a measurement of how much of that club speed you're actually transferring into ball speed. So my 101 mile an hour club speed there became 148 miles an hour of ball speed. 1.46 efficiency, as I say, is solid. Anything up in the high 140s is good, with 1.5 being about as good as you can get in terms of efficiency. So strike wise, hit that right in the center, good distance, good shot. So now we're going to hit a second one. I'm going to try and make the same swing, but I'll try and move the strike around a little bit on the face. So same quality of swing, but let's hit the ball on a slightly different part of the club. So that was very much off the toe, very much off the toe. We'll see that in a minute when the screen pops up. Distance is down dramatically, 40 meters, nearly 40 meters less, 45, 50 yards less. You can see how much the strike shifted, and the clubhead speed on that one was 1 mile an hour faster than my last swing, but the ball speed was down, it dropped a few miles per hour. And because I struck it so close to the toe, I also got a tremendous amount of gear effect, which is the effect of striking off center, adding shape to the shot. In this example, the more I hit towards the toe, the more hook spin is going to be added to the shot. So the path on that one, pretty similar to the first swing. The club face's relationship to the path, very similar. So the geometry of my swing, almost identical. But the outcome of the shot was 40 yards less distance and an extra 30 yards offline. Okay, one more. Again, I'm going to try and make the same swing. This time I'll move the strike more to the heel, towards the heel of the club. That actually didn't feel too bad. It may have been slightly heel side. The ball curved a little bit from left to right, a tiny little fade. Yeah, the strike's pretty centered actually. That one was actually not bad. I tried to hit it more in the heel. I ended up hitting it fairly close to the center. So let's try that one again. See if we can hit one a little bit closer to the heel and see what that does to the distance and the curve. That was right out the heel. I nearly missed that. That was horrible strike, horrible distance. That ball's gone 206 meters, which is about 220 yards. You can see how the heel strike there is being shown on the screen. And with 101 mile per hour club head speed, which was what I started with in my very first swing, I've only managed to generate 137 miles per hour of ball speed. That's an 11 mile an hour drop from the first shot I hit. Identical swing speed, but because the strike location on the face was so different, massive drop in how far the ball's gone. Total distance difference there of 55 meters, 60 yards. 60 yards. Same swing, pretty much the same geometry, pretty much the same swing, just a different location of strike. Makes an enormous difference to how consistent my driving would be from a directional point of view and how far I can hit the ball in terms of distance. So there's some discussion around location of strike on the club face and how it affects ball speed. This for me is something that gets overlooked tremendously by amateur golfers. They're looking for that perfect tee shot, that long drive. How do I draw the ball? How do I hit it the same every single time? Well, I'll tell you this. If your strike location is jumping around the face as erratically as I just demonstrated, you've got basically zero chance of becoming consistent with your driver. It's a huge advantage to be able to put the contact point on the club face pretty centrally most of the time. Center to slightly toe biased is generally the best place to make contact with these clubs. And if you're not checking for strike location and monitoring that as part of your practice, you're really missing a trick. And the best way to practice the strike location and to monitor it, if you're not fortunate enough to have access to a TrackMan or a Foresight GC Quad that measures these things and where the head is in space using the software, something as simple as some face tape. Okay, this face tape you can get quite easily online, just sticks to the club face, and once you hit the ball, it's going to leave a mark on the club face as to where you hit. Monitoring this when you practice over a period of time can make an enormous difference to your driving. It can make you a much better golfer just by being more aware of where your strike pattern is on the club face. One option when it comes to learning to improve strike is to try and hit shots intentionally hitting different parts of the face. Just as I did in my initial demonstration, I was trying to hit the toe or the heel on purpose. And whilst that might seem counterintuitive, because after all we want to hit the center of the face as often as possible, learning to find the extremities of the face, extreme toe and extreme heel when you swing, will begin to teach you the skill of where the center of the club face is. Between those 2 points is the center. So if you know what extreme toe and extreme heel feels like and how to achieve it, you're going to find it easier to get that middle ground that you ultimately want, which is more centered strike. So here we go, hit this one, pretty centered. I'll show you that on the tape. There we go, you can see how that's marked pretty much in the center of the face. Let's go ahead and hit the next one. And I'll intentionally try and hit the toe here, setting up in the center still for my genuine setup, my standard setup, but I'm going to try and hit the toe. Certainly felt more toe, the ball drew a bit more, so there you can see how that one was more towards the toe. And hitting towards the toe is probably the lesser of the two evils. The ball speed tends to stay reasonably fast still. You don't lose quite as much ball speed as you do on a heel strike. And a toe strike would generally add more draw components into the shot, which for the majority of you is probably a good thing. Okay, one more. Let's try and hit the heel this time. Felt heely and high. It certainly wasn't centered. I've ended up actually hitting it a little bit too high on the club face there. So not a very good shot at all. Very, very low distance, as you can imagine, hitting so high on the club face. Let's just hit one more. I'll just try and hit that one even more on the heel this time. So, set up and then heel strike if we can. That was right off the heel. I almost missed it. So you might just make that out there on the shaft. It basically hit right down here. Now, I give you that example of 4 shots there where I'm trying to move the strike around on the face, because that is a skill to be able to do that, and to do that to order. Okay, so it's all well and good saying, yeah, I can hit everywhere on the face, my strikes are so random, I could do that. But actually I want you to be able to do it with intent. Okay, you're choosing to move this strike location around on the face. That's one great exercise that you can do to overall and over time help you to actually achieve the ultimate goal, which of course when you're playing is to hit the center of the club face every single time. Give that a go, let me know how you get on. Another good way to practice this concept of hitting the center of the club face more often is to ensure that the hand and club path that you swing on around your body conforms to a more neutral path and a straighter swing direction. What I mean by that is a lot of poor striking, poor contacts, heel or toe, come from golfers swinging excessively too much, maybe to the right, like into out, trying to exaggerate and encourage more of a draw shape or less of a slice. And certainly golfers who swing down too steep with the club, with the driver swinging out to in, can be far more prone to hitting towards the heel. So this exercise I've just set up here, this training station, I'm using 2 of the Tour Striker plane stations to create this plane or path that I need to conform to. I've got one on the back side of the swing and the front side of the swing to give me the sensation of my hands and club moving around me on the backswing, conforming to a good path on the downswing, and also giving me some guidance for my hands and my club on the follow through. This might seem a little cumbersome to set up. I would suggest that it's going to help your golf, and so taking a little bit of time to set up a station like this is well within your interest if you're actually genuinely looking to improve. Swinging without any guidance or constraints often leads to just random shot patterns and only just sort of continuing to ingrain the bad habits that have got you to where you are already. So some kind of swing station like this, as I say, may seem a little cumbersome, but honestly, it's really the bare minimum that you need if you're going to really change your pattern. If you're doing it inside, the Tour Striker plane stations are perfect. If you're doing this outside on the grass, it's much easier to just push some sticks, some alignment sticks into the ground, and then angle them as you want them. A little bit of trial and error here, but effectively what you want to have is the hands moving around with the lead arm just slightly in and across your chest on the backswing and the downswing. So how my lead arm is slightly in, angled inwards. And then on the front side of the swing, the opposite would be true. In fact, those of you who've seen us set up with the grid on the ground in many previous videos, you use the grid a lot here at GOLFTEC, and a lot of the lessons we have it drawn on the mat so that students can understand some of the basic geometry of the swing. These noodles up in the air here are basically the grid lines that are usually drawn on the ground. So as I move the club and the hand around me, and I have the lines on the mat usually to show me that, those lines extended up into the air are what these noodles are representing for the club and the hand path going back, and then also on the follow through. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and make backswing, downswing, hit the ball and exit underneath the noodles. Stay under the noodles on both sides and see what we get. Felt pretty solid, felt pretty centered. See how far that one's gone. right in the center of the club face, smack bang in the center. 1.5 degree path into out. Very, very good geometry, just conforming to the correct arc of the swing. It's just basic geometry. It's the stuff that you need to build into your swing if you're going to find some level of consistency and improvement. Under the noodle on the back side, under the noodle on the front side. Felt extremely solid again. Straight shot. That one's gone 250 meters, 275 again. Very, very centered contact. 2.5 degrees into out swing path. It's pretty straight. Swinging a couple of degrees up with the driver. I'm happy with those numbers. I think they demonstrate the point that I'm trying to make, that swinging on a more neutral swing direction or swing path is going to allow you to hit better shots, hit the center of the club face more often, have more consistent ball speed, have more consistent shot shape, and ultimately just hit better shots overall. Guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope you found it useful. Ultimately, the summary of that is hit the center of the club face more often, you will become a better golfer. I guarantee you that. How you go about hitting the center of the face more often, there are different ways to do it. I think shared a couple of ideas with you. You can set up with the golf ball on the toe or the heel of the club if you find that that helps you to hit the center more often. Whatever it takes to get that centered, consistent contact, because as I say, that will improve your golf. Thanks for watching, guys. If you've got any questions, go down into the comments and post them there. Let me know your experiences of centered contact, learning to hit the center of the face more often. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I appreciate you hitting the subscribe button if you're not already joined the channel. But until next week, guys, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you very soon for another video.